All right, so we just got done writing the offer. Now we're going to send it to Authentisign for digital signatures. So when you're here, again, we just wrote this offer. You're going to come up here and you're going to hit send to new Authentisign. La-da-dee. Sorry, there we go. All right, so this is the purchase agreement that we just filled out, as you can see. Okay. The first thing that I do is I come up here and I rename it. So I normally will name it whatever it is, and then I do an underscore and the property address. So say offer, 813 Adagio Street. That way when it comes over, you again can differentiate what you actually sent to them for signature. Okay. So what you're going to do next is you're going to come over here and hit add participants. So I'm going to add from the transaction, because remember I added both buyers at the beginning of it along with their quote unquote email addresses. Okay. So I'm going to add test 1 and test 2. Okay. Why isn't it letting me see it? I think this Vimeo thing's in the way. There we go. Sorry. So I'm going to push select. And then you can see it automatically comes up here. So most of the time it will automatically drop these in for you, which is a total blessing, because if not, you actually have to go over, and I'm just verifying that it did in fact drop them. Awesome, see? And then it even drops in the signatures, the date, the time, etc. Okay, so that's awesome. Sometimes if it doesn't drop it in for you, then what you're going to have to do is head over to tools, and you can see it has test 1 buyer. So you can go back and forth between test 1 buyer, test 2 buyer, depending on, you know, who you need to drop anything in for. So again, if it doesn't automatically drop it in for you, these are all the options you have. So you can, you know, put in the initials. Okay, if you click on that, you can do it as required or not required, which means that they can choose the initial or choose not to initial. I'm going to remove that obviously because we don't need it. You can also do their signatures. It automatically puts in a date if you don't need the date. Left click, hit delete. So you have all these choices here, auto date, auto time. You can also do a text box. So if there's something, say down here, right, you're like, oh crap, I forgot to put in the time that I need the seller to respond by, right? Like you accidentally left this blank. Then you can hit text box, come over here, and you can actually enter the text here. So you can say 10 o'clock. You can also, when you're doing this, if you click on it, you can see over here, you can do transparent background. So that way it's not overwriting anything. And then you want to do another text box of the day or the month, sorry. So let's say May 1st. (2024). Okay. And then also you want to mark AM or PM. So if you use one of these up here, that means that the seller or the buyer has to check box it. So I wouldn't leave that to chance. I would just do an X and then let me make this transparent. I would just do that and then put it over whichever one you were saying. So that is how you do a text box. You can also do it to where, like an eclipse, to where you're like, hey, I really want you to pay attention to this. So like, we're putting this in the contract. Again, this isn't just specifically for this contract. It's also for, other items that need to be shared, or signed or whatever through Authentisign. So I think they did a really, really good job of giving us all these options of, what we can actually put in here. And then documents. So if you're like, oh crap, I forgot, I also need to send them the duties owed, right? So you can still add it. You just have to come over here to docs, and then you can do add document or form. So if it's within the transaction and you need to add the duties owed, you can just push add duties owed, and then you can close it. And then this one, because I added it as a second thing, is going to be down at the bottom. You always want your duties owed to be one of the first things that are signed. So you can move this all the way up here if you'd like. And the difference between may or may not is completely up to you. You can either, after you explain it to your clients what it is, you can get, rid of 2 of them, or you can also do initials, like I mentioned before, and allow them to choose. But most of the time, if you kind of put that in there and allow them to choose without having the conversation with them, sometimes they'll mark both of them, and then you end up having a whole bunch of initials here that you don't need. So anyhow, but that's how you add a document. And again, you can change what goes first, what goes second, whatever. So after you've gone through this and you made sure that all the things are there for them to initial and sign and date and all that good stuff, then the next thing you do is you come up here and you push next. Then it'll say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm sending it to them, whatever. You can also customize your invites, and you can say, hey, here is the offer. Please feel, I would also add maybe as discussed, because obviously you guys have probably talked about it. Please feel free to call or text me should you have any questions. So you can do that. You can also add one thing to, the very, very first person, and a completely different message to the second person with another email subject, whatever works for you. But essentially that's how you do custom invites. Okay. Push save. And then when you want to send it out, you're going to push send. So since these email addresses are not real, I'm not going to push send, but you get the gist of being able to send out an offer through Authentisign.